I got thumbs up. I got 3 thumbs up, or at least 2 multiple times. Hey, I was thinking about things. I was thinking about being obsessed or be average today. I am Derek. I am with the Cardone Group. It is another edition of Automotive Fridays. And I was thinking about being obsessed or being average, because ultimately what we are going to talk about today is one of those small little techniques that can help you significantly in whatever it is that you're selling. Hopefully it's automobiles, and hopefully it's this weekend. Right now, it is not sunny. It's not very pretty here in Central Florida. In fact, it's about to get crazy in regards to thunder and lightning. So hopefully it won't be too overwhelming. We'll be able to get the show off with no problem. So anyway, I was looking at Be Obsessed or Be Average yesterday, and I was thinking about what it is that we do and what we deliver when we're talking with customers. And Grant says in there, you got to get obsessed with your product. Is what I'm doing every day making a difference for the better? And this is something that I talk about a lot, right? We're salespeople. We sell cars. We're not actually curing cancer or putting a man on the moon or any of that kind of stuff. We're selling cars. But is what I'm doing making it better for people, right? Am I making a difference? Am I making a difference for my family? Am I making a difference for my team, right? What am I doing? Do I love my product? I said it before, you can't be a great salesperson unless you truly love your product, right? One of the things that drives me batty is that when we've got salespeople that are talking bad about their product and then they're trying to sell to somebody else. It doesn't work, man. We can't do that. We got to love our product. Do I love selling my product? Can I have faith in what I'm selling so that when the customer drives off the lot and I call them back 30, 60, 90 days, 2 years from now, that I'm confident that they're going to have a good experience with it? Do I own my own product? We just talked about that. Have I insisted that my family buy my product? You know, I used to joke about this, but Toyota salespeople, they got turned over a lot back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I mean, just a horrendous turn of salespeople. And one of the first things that they do, they'd hire a whole bunch of new people. They'd tell them how great Toyotas are, and then they'd get them to sell Toyotas to all their relatives. So even if they didn't keep them, they were constantly selling cars to all the new employees' relatives. So does my family buy and drive my car, right? Should people go into debt for my product? Do I believe that it's worth the monthly payments, right? Do I believe it's worth what it takes to own it? Do I continue to call people back even after they told me they're not interested? And could I charge double for my product and still make sense of the cost? So when you look at those lists, right, that list of things right there and Be Obsessed or Be Average, and it starts talking about the product, you got to believe in it. And you really got to believe in your product. And if you don't, it's going to be really hard to sell it. So I want you to be comfortable. I want you to be confident. I want you to believe. One of the things that we've been talking about a lot lately is that every manufacturer is making a great product right now. Look at the warranties. I was talking to one of our OEM contracts, one of our OEM clients, and they told me that warranty dollars spend was down 40% this year on their vehicles. 40%. Now, for dealers, that's not good because that's 40% of warranty money that's not being spent in the service drive. But for a customer, what's that mean? It means they're building great cars, right? So when we look at this, are your cars that you're selling, are they world-class? Are they ready to go? Are they something that you can be confident in? Yeah, I hope so, because we're all selling good cars out there, right? All these products are good. So when you're selling them, believe in them, right? Know your warranties, know your product presentation information, know your demonstration information, know how to deliver that information, be confident in your service department to be able to take care of the customer if something comes in. So that's how you get obsessed about your product. All right, so today I want to talk about alternatives, right? Alternatives are, as I say all the time, they're the only thing I know in the sales business that works whether the customer says yes or no, right? So what is an alternative? If a customer comes in and they're looking at an XLE, an XL, or an SL, or whatever a model down is for your product, that's an alternative. There's a whole bunch of ways that we can offer alternatives. We could offer a used car to a new car as an alternative. We could offer a CPO, certified pre-owned, to a new car as an alternative. We could offer a trim level down, right? We could say, okay, so we'll go from an XLE to an SL, right? That's a trim level down. We could offer a model down. We could go from an Altima to a Versa, right? That's an actual model down. We could offer equipment down. Well, this one's got 22-inch tires. This one's got 19-inch tires. What's the point of an alternative? What are we trying to create when we offer that alternative? Well, what we're trying to do is create savings or a dollar difference for the different levels that we're offering so that the customers can establish value, right? What is an XLE worth versus an SL? To me as a customer and to the dollars that it takes to own the car. What is a new versus a certified pre-owned? What's the dollar difference, right? That's an alternative. And so we offer an alternative with 3 simple words. And I have to do the hand signs because we still do these from time to time, but I have to do the hand signs. Would you consider, right? That's all it is. Would you consider? Alternatives are not a hard sell. In fact, they're completely the opposite of a hard sell. They're just a conversation. Most people screw up alternatives because they try and make the decision for the customer. We don't want to do that. It's not what we're doing. We're giving choices, and choices are the critical piece to this whole process. Would you consider? So this is it. We're looking at an XLE. I'm going to offer an SL, which is a model down, right? So here's the XLE. I say, hey, Mr. Customer, before we go look at the XLE, would you consider an SL? It doesn't have this equipment, that equipment, and this. And it would save you about $3,000 in price, about $60 a month in payment. Now, the customer has a choice. They can say, yes, show me that with the savings, or they can say, no, I'm interested in the XLE. Let's go take a look at that. Now, if they say yes, then we know that money, either the price or the payment, is important to the decision-making process for this customer. So we take them immediately and we go show them the SL. If they say no, they say, oh, I really want the XLE. You take them to the XLE. It worked in both cases. Now, what we've done is we've established the value, the differential between the SL or XLE and the SL, right? It's $3,000, $60 a month in payment. What's that mean? That means that there is enough value in the equipment on the XLE that the customer sees that is a good deal, right? So now as you progress through this and you begin the negotiation aspects, we've talked about this a bunch in the last couple of weeks. When we get into the negotiations, that alternative becomes absolutely critical for us to be successful, right? What do I mean? So if I make the presentation, remember the first rule of negotiations is you have to overcome the customer's objection without a discount, right? No discount on that first part. It needs to be logical. It needs to make sense. Hey, the price of this car is too high. Derek, here, circle and sign. No, Derek, the price of this car is too high. You know what? I'm with you. Remember I showed you the SL outside, told you it'd save you $3,000. Let's go take a look at that, right? It's simple. We've already established that value. We've already established that as an opportunity. Customer looks at me and says, no, Derek, I really want the XLE. It's exactly how I wanted to equip. Excellent choice. Full legal name here. I'll get your car clean and ready for immediate delivery. Doesn't mean they're going to say yes. But again, we just logically justified our value in that presentation. Customer says, well, wow, that payment's way too high. Hey, I'm with you. Remember outside, I told you about the SL, told you it'd save you about $60 a month of payment. Let's go take a peek at that. No, Derek, I want the XLE. Great choice. Full legal name here. Get your car clean and ready for immediate delivery. Okay. Again, doesn't mean they'll say yes to the payment. Logically justified it. So we move forward. So now alternatives help us in a lot of ways. So we've got multiple reasons that we talk about in our workbook. Why do we offer alternatives? Well, the first one is we offer an alternative to save the buyer money. Anytime we can do something that's helpful for the buyer, that's what we want to do. And saving the buyer money is important. Most dealership salespeople, unfortunately, think that they're going to get a larger commission from selling a more expensive car, right? Maybe in the old days, the grosses used to be big enough and that more expensive car, more gross, bigger commission. It doesn't work that way. And the other challenge today is that if I have the customer own more car than they can afford and I have to stretch out the term, I have to cut the gross, I have to do all this crazy stuff just to get them approved, there's no profit left in the deal anyway, right? So I'm actually better served to find a car that fits what they need and want, offer to save them money, see if they're interested in that. And if they are, then I need to show them that. Allows the buyer to save face. I was talking to a dealer group this week, and it was kind of interesting because one of the challenges that they have is that the customer comes in to the negotiations on the wrong car, right? Car's too expensive for them. The car's too much money. And they feel like it gets broken down in the very beginning from the needs assessment stage, right? Well, it's entirely possible. But one of the things we know is that if you tell a customer, well, you can't afford it, right? This car's just too much. Let's go find a cheaper car. They will leave. That's an insult to the customer. They'll leave and they'll go down the street and they'll buy a cheaper car somewhere else. You won't get a chance. So offering an alternative allows you to put yourself in a position so that the buyer can save face later in the deal. Test the buyer's commitment, right? We talk about trial closes. Well, this is a trial close. This is an easy way to do a trial close. If I'm done with my demo drive and I pull back in with the customer and I get out of the car and the car that I just showed has leather and a sunroof, right? I can say to the customer, hey, would you consider one without leather, without sunroof? It'd probably save you about $2,000, $2,200, maybe $40, $44 a month in payment. No, I really like the leather and sunroof. What just happened? I tested their commitment on this vehicle. It was an easy engagement. It was an easy trial close, and it put me in a position that I'm be able to say, hey, great, let's go inside. I'll show you how easy it is to do business here. It becomes a great trial close. And again, that same offer that we just made as an alternative It's going to come right back around when we get into the negotiations. If the payment's too high, you can always fall back on the one without leather, without the sunroof. And I haven't insulted the customer because I talked about it before the negotiations. I'm not telling them they can't afford it. It's just math, right? This car's cheaper, payment's less. I've told you that outside. So now if we get into that in the negotiations, I can just discuss it with you there. It's just that simple. It sets up negotiations. Well, that's what I'm talking about, right? We're setting up the negotiations. We talk about this a lot. The last alternative that you offer, we call it the floor of the negotiations, right? So if the last alternative's only got a $1,500 differential, maybe in equipment, right? Maybe it's got 22-inch wheels versus 18-inch wheels, right? So it's $1,500 less for the car with the 18-inch wheels. Okay, that's fine. That's the floor of the negotiations. If the customer wants more than $1,500 off of the car, we need to go show them another car, right? So now we have that as a floor and we set that up. Believe it or not, this is going to help satisfy the buyer's need to shop, because offering alternatives that they haven't considered is unique, right, for you, because that's not what's normally happening. And it puts them in a position where they actually mentally have to make a decision, yes or no, right? Do I want to see that car that's less expensive without the equipment I want? No, I don't. They've satisfied that need to shop. They don't need to look at a cheaper car. Do I want to consider a CPO, certified pre-owned, versus this new car? No, I don't need to do that. I want the new car. Satisfies their need to shop. So it puts us in a great position to control that exponentially, as we like to say, as we move forward. And ultimately, it's going to build value and growth. One of the things that's a challenge, especially in new car stores, is if we sell too many new cars versus too many used cars. And offering alternatives to the customer at the right time is a great way that you can hey, we can offer an alternative from a used car to a new car, especially in a lease program, right? We can offer an alternative from a new car to a used car, especially when we've got some late model, low miles, balance to the factory warranty vehicles, right? It gives us a chance to kind of compete and build value and put ourselves in a position that other people aren't. But we have to offer these right up front. This isn't something that waits to the end. We need to start talking about alternatives from the very beginning. Right? From the minute we start talking to the customer about the inventory, we need to be offering different alternatives. And it's just as simple. Would you consider? It's not a sales tactic as far as I'm not trying to get them to take the cheaper car. I'm not trying to get them to take the more expensive car. All I want to do is make sure that they are considering these different options. And that's the reason why I say it the way that I do. Would you consider? It's pretty simple. So all the different ways that we can do this, we talked about. We can do a model or package down, a package up, new to used, new to certified pre-owned, used to new. Okay. So what are we looking at? What is the easiest way to do this? Well, number one thing that you have to do is you have to know your inventory, right? This is critical, man. I can't offer an alternative if I don't know that I have it. Well, you can, but sometimes it'll bite you in the foot, right? You don't want to do that. I want to make sure that I know I have an SL that I can show as an alternative to the XLE. I have to know about my inventory. I want to know that I have a certified pre-owned that I can show as an alternative to the new one that I'm showing. Right. And if I don't know that, it puts me behind the eight ball there. I have to be able to be aware of it. So I want to make sure when I'm doing this that I know how to offer it. So we work with a lot of groups all over the United States and Canada. One of the things that we've seen that works really, really successfully is that when you have different makes and models and you can showcase them, right? We've got a group that'll have all of their Camrys right here. They'll have one really nice Camry, one average Camry, and one certified pre-owned Camry. So the salesperson can walk right up and they can show all three levels of the Camry right in a row, right? Here's a really nice one. Here's a mid-range one. Here's a certified pre-owned. It's easy, right? It's engaging for the customer too, because you're letting them see the differential between the three cars and they can establish value. We've got prices. We can tell them the payment difference. We can show them the vehicles right there. It's simple, okay? But the way that we do it, remember, 3 words, would you consider? So easy. Hey, would you consider an SL instead of an XLE? Will save you about $3,000. Would you consider a certified pre-owned? It's low miles, like new, balance of the factory warranty, save you about $3,000, right? It's just that simple. Now, I'm doing very easy math here. I'm saying, would you consider? It would save you, and then I tell them what the price difference is. And then whatever difference it is, I'm just doing 20 bucks a month or 20 bucks a month. 20 bucks a month per 1,000, right? So if it's $3,000, I tell them it's 60 bucks a month difference in payment. Okay. It's just rough math. It doesn't have to be exact, but it gives us that value. It establishes that, makes it really easy for us. Okay. So things to think about, right? These are things to remember, right? Why are we doing this? Well, we're measuring the attempt in terms of improving the client situation. That's what we're ultimately trying to do, improve their situation. If we can improve their situation, it's going to help us close a deal, right? We want to make sure that we understand that the client declining the alternative is just as significant as the customer saying yes, right? Them saying, no, I don't want the cheaper car. No, I don't want the certified pre-owned. No, I don't want the model down. That's just as important as the customer saying, yeah, show me that car, okay? We need to look at this, that improving the client situation puts us in a different competition than what everybody else is. This is one of those things that's kind of interesting. If you have somebody that's coming in off of a special price, right, and then you continue to offer alternatives, you might find something that's more interested to them than that one vehicle that you just offered, okay? Again, allow the buyer to shop, offer that certified pre-owned, right? Offer that model down. We want to be unique. And offering alternatives creates a situation where you are unique by doing it. Okay, again, this isn't something that's normally happening. And it allows us to stay in control of the process. Ultimately, that's what we're about, right? We talk about control. It's hard to, this isn't one of those, get control of the customer. That's not what we're doing. We want to be the one leading the way, though. That's the control we're talking about. And by offering the alternatives, would you consider that allows us to lead the way and allow the customer to be engaged in, okay? So there's a couple of situations that I think are really important that alternatives apply to. Number one, when we're first walking out to do our product presentation, before I show them even that first vehicle, I want to offer an alternative. That's a lot of times that'll be that certified pre-owned or that used to new that we talk about, okay? Before I go on a demo drive, this is a great time to offer a model down or a package down. That's a great time to offer that, okay? So this is a fairly large alternative before I even show them the car. This is a smaller alternative before I take them out on a test drive. When I come back from the test drive, I can go to an even smaller alternative, which might end up being just equipment or a small package differential, okay? So those are 3 steps, 3 different times that we offer the alternative in the sales process. Now, again, each one of those alternatives creates a different pricing differential, right? 1,500, 3,000, 6,000, maybe that's 30, 60, and $120 a month, right? Those are the payment differentials. So now in the negotiation experience, depending on what the customer's reaction is, you could use those as alternatives in the negotiations, okay? So that's simple and easy. Now, when are the other times we need to offer alternative? I think that the single biggest opportunity for us as salespeople to use the alternative, we talk about improving the buyer situation. When I make a call back tomorrow to my unsold customer from yesterday, I don't know about you guys, but most of the time I've said everything I know to say before they leave, right? I really have. I've done everything I can to close them, because what's the reality? We know that a customer that leaves, we don't have any control, and it's harder to get them back in. So when I'm making that outbound phone call, I am going to consistently offer an alternative. I'm gonna find one, okay? I don't care what it is. I'm gonna call them and offer them an alternative that's gonna improve their situation. How do I do that? Again, I need to know my inventory. If I showed them this car last night, I need to be going through looking for a car that's similar to that I can offer that'll have some sort of monetary savings for it. Or maybe it'll be more, right? Maybe it's a lease that I'm calling to offer them on. Hey, would you consider this lease on a car that's a little bit nicer, but at least is better, right? So your monthly payment's going to be even less. So there's different ways to handle this alternative part. But the reality is that you need to be well-versed on your inventory. So the 3 times out on the lot, before the product presentation, before the demo drive, and then after the demo drive in smaller alternative fashion, right? Smaller dollars on the alternative. And then on the callback, I'm telling you, 100%, man, offer that alternative on the callback, right? Offer that alternative when you're calling back untold traffic from yesterday. Now, when we look at phone leads and internet leads, alternatives have been something we've recommended for years. And there's a lot of dealerships that I talk to that are doing a good, better, best when they send back information to a customer. It's a great example of alternatives, right? If you're going to do that, I challenge you, make sure to throw in a certified pre-owned also with the good, better, best. You'll find that you get a lot of interest in that as well. So those are the 5 times that I'm telling you, you're going to get a lot of success offering alternatives. All right. So it's going into the weekend. So how do we do this? What do we need to do? Just make a commitment to yourself that you're going to use these alternatives when you're out talking to customers on the lot. It's simple. Would you consider? Hey, would you consider this one? It'll save you this amount of money. roughly $20 a thousand, right? Would you consider this model down? Would you consider this certified pre-owned? These are simple. These are easy. It's techniques that you can implement tomorrow. I am Derek Simons, and I am with the Cardone Group, and I really, truly appreciate you spending your Friday afternoon with me. We'll be back next week. I think we have a rerun, and then the week after that, we'll be back with some more live content. But once again, I'm Derek with the Cardone Group. You can get us at thecardonegroup.com, cardoneinstitute.com, 10xyourprofits.com, any of those sites. Check us out. We're here for you. Anybody that's got any questions, shoot them to info@cardonegroup.com, and somebody will reach back out to you. I appreciate your time. Have a great weekend.